Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Well, you know the rest. I've got a guest, folks, so let's get to it. I'm John Renton with my review of AEW Grand Slam Australia from Sydney. Hello, Sydney. This is Sir, aka the producer, by the way, for those of you that are new to the channel. Adopt, don't shop. And you didn't really tune in for much of this. You were fully asleep because you somehow read the spoilers already. And I told you not to tell me the spoilers, but then you were about to. And then I gave you chicken, and then you conked out before the show started, so thank you. So anyway, yeah, this was a taped show. Obviously, it was live for the crowd, because how the fuck else would... Maybe they could simulate an audience like they tried to for the intros for the Team Challenge series at the AWA's, well, last bit of television. So that being said... Not a bad show overall, kind of standard stock stuff. At least Sydney said fuck ice, and by the way, abolish ice. Fuck ice if you say otherwise, well, fuck you too. Isn't that right? We're gonna say fuck ice, aren't we? Ow. You know, you have food down there, and you could just simply eat that and not dig your claws into my face. Okay, go ahead. So anyway. Let's just get on to it, because the arena holds around 21,000 people. They had 10 to 12,000. Maybe they had more. I don't know. For those that were at the show, please tell me how full it was. I'm genuinely curious. So they had to catch against Jon Moxley for the AEW Continental Championship. I'm going to be honest here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this show, due in large part to the fact that while the international crowds are certainly an upper, and there was a big feel about this, it just was a standard, pumped up collision, shall we say. The crowd was very into a lot of this stuff. They were cheering Jon Moxley, whatever. Fighting Spirit Mox, just like I'm fighting Sleep to, deal with any of this Death Rider stuff. Excalibur and Schiavone were on commentary, so it's an uphill battle. And I like Tony Schiavone, do not misunderstand me. He shouldn't be doing commentary all that often. Excalibur is rotten as a lead commentator. The person that had the too many belts sign, I salute you. And Moxley calling out so many goddamn spots. Jesus Christ, I thought John Cena was a bad ventriloquist. Moxley also nearly crashed out on a dive. Callis was on commentary. And we got a stomp on the apron. Why? We got a second stomp. And then a choke, 5 minutes left. Takeshita hit 3 throws, belly-to-belly overheads, and yeah, that didn't matter. Then we got down to 30 seconds, then they boom, 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 and then we got a time limit draw. I'm not saying Takeshita's any worse off after this match, but he's not any better off after this. They need to have a rematch of Revolution. He needs to beat Moxley flat in 5 to 7 minutes, and we need to just end this stuff with Moxley and the Death Riders and all this. It's beyond stale. That's all I'm going to say. So anyway, package on Briscoe and Fletcher. More on that in a bit. And then on Stat and Tekla that I pointed out actually sounded a bit like a minion in this pre-tape, and now I can't unhear it. That's unfortunate. Who was the blonde that had the face paint like Harley that was in the crowd? I need to know this for, certain purposes. Mainly because I'm just glad when they can find very fetching people in the crowd. The Babes of Wrath, Harley Cameron and Willow Nightingale against Mega Bad. Megan Bain and the bad part of the team, Penelope Ford. I know she's supposed to be super bad. I'm sorry, no. She did a couple moves that were kind of okay in this, but she's not going to get any better. AEW Women's Tag Team Championship match. Rick Knox is easily the worst referee in professional wrestling. Today, he is the worst referee in at least the last 40 fucking years. There were referees in world class that couldn't even get down on the ground that did better than Rick Knox. The only reason that Rick Knox is even around is the Bucks actually went to Egypt and found him in a pyramid. So, the crowd loved the faces. And I did notice that with all the spray tanning, everybody was the same color as Willow, and I don't know how to feel about that. Penelope did hit one nice moonsault, but then ended up negating that progress by flopping immediately. And then gets trapped in a roll-up. 1, 2, 3. Not a bad match. It was what it was. At least the champs retained. Then suddenly Lena Cross, who apparently is a friend of Rhea Ripley's. Guess it makes sense with the Aussie connection. And big lass, tall lass, and apparently she signed to AEW. Good on her. I think she's been actually signed for a bit, but nevertheless. Jungle Boy and Ricochet pre-tape package thing. Yay, this feud is continuing when I didn't want it to start in the first place. Andrade, Oli Olio, and Hangman took on each other to see who would get the number one contender spot to face, well, it turns out MJF, which, given who won this match, it pretty much spoiled what was going to happen. And in all seriousness, I actually did not know the spoilers going into this because I was at work when this show was happening, and I had things to do. Callis on commentary. Oh, boy. I mean, I'm sorry. Actually, I don't know. No, Callis might not have been on commentary for Ketchum versus Moxley now that I think about it. But, yeah, there we go. Who was a girl that was at ringside? Apparently it's this Aussie wrestler, Aisha, I think is her name. She went to kiss Hangman. He says, I'm married. Respect to Hangman right there. I forget that marriage actually stops some people from doing that. So, well worked. My problem is I'm not that invested in Andrade, and Hangman Skrull still has a lot of apologizing to do. I do like the flash elbow that Hangman hit, or that Andrade hits. That's nice. He got hit with a dead eye, however, and then Callis tries to distract. Andrade misses doing a low blow kick, and Hangman boots him and then hits a buckshot. 1, 2, 3. I don't know who the band Speed is, by the way. So, there you are. I mean, they seemed like they were happy to be there, and apparently they did the theme for this show. So, speaking of themes, let's get somebody's back on the show for this theme. So then we got to what is easily the worst match on the show, and the worst match has been on AEW programming at least since one of the Blood and Guts. The mixed tag hair match. It was Timeless, Toni Storm, and Orange Cassidy dressed the same against Marina Shafir, that freaking goddamn useless ass woman. They can't do anything right. I don't care that she's legit tough. She fucking sucks at wrestling. And Wheeler Yuta. They have wasted so much television time on both of these wastes of space. So anyway, yeah, mixed tag. Loser gets their head shaved. And they battled in the crowd. They battled in the ring. Yuta cannot do anything appreciably better than most people that are just in indie school training. Shafir is never going to get better, whether she's athletic or not. Toni Storm has been drugged down by this. Orange Cassidy is who Orange Cassidy is. Now, I found myself at least rooting for Orange Cassidy to do one of two things. Take Yuta or Shafir out. Preferably in some kind of goddamn vegetative state, or at least something in a working way where I don't have to see these motherfuckers for about another goddamn year, because I'm sick of them. I'm sick of them. Okay, fine. You want to go out? He wants to go out, folks. Give me a second. So anyway, let's get back to the video. I run a professional show, as you can tell. I could have paused the video, but why? It's just fun at this point. 45, I don't really give a shit. Such a misuse of Toni Storm. And Yuta got pinned by Toni. By the way, there was a little earlier thing where it looked like Toni might have really hurt her goddamn neck because Yuta couldn't do a fucking pile driver properly. Because Yuta's really fucking bad at wrestling. Yeah, so Yuta got pinned by Toni. Mina brought out a stool for him to sit down on. I don't think Mina Shirakawa owns a pair of pants, is what I've noted. Moxley then yells at Yuta basically to get back in the ring because Yuta was just going to leave and they said he could be fined or suspended. Wait, don't get your head shaved because I didn't want to see this stupid fucker. But alas, no, Moxley once again ruined everything. And it looked like Mina Shirakawa was pinning him down. God, never mind. It would be my 13th reason, by the way, if I found out that Yuta and Shirakawa were somehow together. And there we go. Yuta got his head at least somewhat shaved and is going to get the rest shaved. And oh no, he might actually be seen as what he has always been, a bland, boring-ass wrestler, just like Garcia. So, whatever, that it didn't end like a Sweeney Todd bit, so that's disappointing. Kenny Omega and Swerve on Wednesday. I think I'm going to make it to Revolution, and I'm going to assess how much Dynamite I'm going to review. I know I've said that before. I even said it like a few months ago, but I'm really starting to think that maybe taking some time off from AEW might not hurt, since I've pretty much taken almost all of WWE off. Briscoe and Fletcher had a ladder match for the TNT title. They didn't do Briscoe any favors as far as crowd reaction here, even though I understand why they did this, and it was cool that Kyle got to be there in front of his hometown, almost said home country people, but he is from Sydney. And the great thing is that Kyle also hates the criminal piece of shit in the White House. So good on him. More people should. If only more you had had him and you hadn't voted him back in, but you're getting what you voted for, you dumb sons of bitches. So Okada was asked not to interfere. And he didn't, because Okada couldn't be bothered to actually do anything. Rick Knox sucks. He's the fucking shits and he needs to be yelled at by fans need to heckle the fuck out of him. Something needs to be done to get this guy out of here, because he is rotten. I don't care if he's a good guy. He is terrible as a referee. Briscoe got tossed off a ladder into the ropes and fell to the floor. Why? Mark is bleeding. Kyle's bleeding. It's not that it's a bad match, but the problem is I've seen so many ladder matches, not just on AEW programming, but all programming, that they've lost all meaning. A bomb snaps the ladder. A power bomb, that is, not an actual bomb. That would have probably gotten them wiped off the air. Briscoe's getting booed. A J Driller on the ladder. And then a brainbuster off the top of the ladder. Why? And why was Briscoe back up? As tough as Briscoe is, that should have been it. But anyway, Kyle won. Okay. They have too many championships, but simultaneously also Kyle is above the TNT title at this point. And I'm not saying the TNT title is terrible. I just they got a problem and they need to correct it. Like with how they're utilizing some people. And they gotta make it quick. Because there are just certain things, like Kyle, in my opinion, if Takesha's not going to beat Moxley, have Kyle beat Moxley. Just have somebody take the title off of Dick the Boozer, for God's sakes. So, anyway, the announcers killed time. Brody gets a big pop. And we do hear Fuck Guys chants. They are muted, but they're still coming through mostly loud and clear. God forbid if this was live, that might have actually caused Warner Bros. Discovery to have a stroke. I don't necessarily believe the stuff about Brody being kept off of Dynamite, by the way, because I actually think him and MJF were over in Australia doing some publicity. So, do I believe that Warner Bros. Discovery wants to sell to Netflix and they want to do everything they can to push that deal along? Yes. Also, Zasloff is a fucking, idiot that worships at the altar of the criminal piece of shit, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to make a call. But that being said, they're probably doing damage control, because it is Fuck Guys. Everybody should say that. If you're an actual American, an actual human being, you should be saying that. And for those that say they love Ice, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's freedom of speech, not freedom of consequences. Just like that kid that punched out that other guy in that school. And he deserved it. He's lucky that's all he got. So anyway, Brody and MJF had an AEW title match, and the problem is Hangman's win telegraphed what this was. Now, if Andrade had won, you could have gone either direction, but Hangman winning pretty much telegraphed it. So, basically we had heavy chops. Eventually, MJF worked on Brody's knee. This match was slowed down with good pacing by MJF, who actually understands wrestling, unlike some people that are in this company. So anyway, a sleeper. Bandito comes out to encourage Brody to not tap out to the sleeper. A DVD into the barrier. That looked very painful. Thought we were going to get to 6,000,001. And then we got, stopping the ring. Oh no. Oh no. It was a It's Bandito stopping the one of the many rings that MJF has. And then a choke and the Gonzo bomb. 1, 2. Bit quick on that kick out. Bit quick actually on the cover. I think Brody should have probably sold the knee for a little bit and not, immediately demolish the finish, but whatever. And a drop on the apron. I thought we were going to get a tombstone, but we didn't. And a heat seeker. 1, 2, 3. Hangman comes out with a contract. And they sign it. And okay, great. And then Tony Khan announces they're going to have a face-to-face. They just had a face-to-face. In Sydney, you fucking weirdo. What the fuck's wrong with you, Tony? Come on. That was Grand Slam Australia. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin. Until we come back to AEW programming again in just a few days, happy trails to you.